Hello everyone, KV2 Enjoyer here. Guess what? I spent the past 20 minutes doing the voiceover for this video, but apparently my microphone was off, so I wasted 20 minutes. But anyways, welcome back to Sprocket. I hope you are good, you have a good day, and well, it has been almost 2 months since my last video. It was I think in April, and but I've been gone for those weeks because I've been working on something. I had many projects. Some of them are done, some of them are still going on, but one of them is what you can see now. I'm trying something experimental. I actually made these icons. Well, I draw them by hand, so I hope you like them. Anyways, today I built the YT-16, if I'm correct. I hope I am. The YT-16 is an early war tank destroyer with a naval gun. Now this sounds very like I already said this before, and this is because I actually made already a tank with a naval gun and an actual tank destroyer with a naval gun, but it was in an old version. And what I am thinking of doing is that I'm gonna move on with I'm gonna still go working on the early war period in Sprocket, even though I already finished it, simply because since I'm using the newest version, the old models are incompatible, and I have to, I can fix it, I can fix them in order to make them work in this version, but it takes a lot of time. And in order to then do the evaluation, the judgment over the best vehicle I made so far, I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna fix those old models, of course, in the future, but for the moment I'm gonna work on improving myself. And I actually am improving a lot, because I am in the official Discord server of Sprocket, and I actually have a lore section where I upload about a fictional history of the tanks of a fictional nation, etc. It's really fun. I really like it. And actually, if you are in that Discord server, you can you can come and join and read the lore and see my tanks. They are not tanks from this series, so they are completely different, and I am having a lot of fun of doing that. And speaking of Discord server, I don't usually advertise it, but I have an official Discord server that you should join. I'm gonna put the link in the description, but it's gonna expire in probably 1 or 2 weeks, so take your time to go and check it out. And so we have more people joining, and we're gonna have fun. We can play together, we can do voice chats, and it's a lot of fun. Anyways, as I said before, the YT-16 is a tank destroyer with a naval gun with a 125mm cannon. It is really powerful. I think it has something like 170mm of penetration. I am not certain, but it's still a lot. It's very powerful. But of course, to make it balanced, and also because it's an open top tank, the vehicle has low survivability. But, and you will see it later when I'm gonna talk about the scenario I was playing with, which, by the way, in the recent the newest update, the developer finally added back the scenarios, all the scenarios that were in the original version, and it's really good. And also the sandbox, the original sandbox it's the one that I am actually using for this video, my favorite. Anyways, the tank is actually pretty survivable, because the engine is right in front of the driver and the machine gunner, and behind them there is the gunner and the loader, which they are not very well protected. The loader is actually sitting on the back of the tank because there's not enough space for him to stay on the turret with the gunner. And that means that after every shot, what happens is that the loader has to get down from the tank, get the round, give it to the gunner, and well, not give it to the gunner, but he has to go in the cannon and put the round in the cannon, and then it's ready to go. Even though that sounds like it takes a lot of time, actually the tank has a decent reload speed. It's slow, but in real life it's not that slow. It takes like 9 seconds, which is crazy fast for a tank, mostly of this period of time. So 9 seconds is really good. But of course, that means that the loader and the gunner have basically no protection, which makes them vulnerable to basically anything. And but it still manages to survive shots. You will see later, I'm gonna tell you why. But talking about the designing process, I have been using, let's say, unconventional ways to make things. For example, for the gunner side, I used a machine gunner port, turn it around with the barrel sticking it backwards, like it was the actual sight, and it does the job very well. I like it. Then the other thing that I started doing even recently is to placing metal plates separating the modules inside of the tank. For example, the engine is in front. Behind it, there's two metal plates dividing the engine from the driver. Then there's another metal plate dividing the driver from the turret ring and the ammo section. And that is good because it adds more internal protection, and it is more realistic because it also is meant to support the structure of the tank. And yeah, I've been working on this for a while now. Now, the YT16 is slow. It has a very slow engine. It's a V6 engine, but it's really small. This is because it doesn't have a lot of space to, well, I could have put the engine right under the turret, but I wanted to have a tank with a front transmission. But to do that, I had to, well, I had to move the engine in the front, because in the back there's no space. So what happens is that the YT16 is just a vehicle that is great for ambush and defensive position. That means that basically, when the crew has to go to battle, they have to drive slowly, of course, and that makes sense because this is supposed to be a British tank. Actually, I wasn't thinking of making a British tank, but I just decided to make it British. But the crew drives the tank in a certain position, and they stay in that same position for the whole battle until it's over. So, for example, they're gonna snipe tanks because this is a tank destroyer, of course. So they're gonna stay still in the forest or in a certain position, and they're gonna just move the turret and eventually maybe move the tank around a bit. But this makes the YT16 a very strategic vehicle. It is not meant to go out and drive. It is also slow because it is meant to be used with infantry. So infantry is gonna move with the tank, and they're gonna spot vehicles like an enemy German Tiger or whatever. The infantry they are gonna spot the enemy tanks, the enemy vehicles. Then the YT16 is gonna take position. It's gonna wait for the tank to come through, and it's gonna shoot and take care of it. So it's really strategic, and I like this idea, even though I don't like the engine and the speed because it struggles a lot in the sloped areas and uneven terrain. And yeah, I was trying the YT16 in the railway scenario, and the first thing I noticed is that the AI is so overpowered sometimes that they see you through the trees. I couldn't see them. They were seeing me from far away and shooting me before I could shoot them because I couldn't see them. So they had this advantage. So after some trial, I just tried to flank them from the side where there's no tree, and it worked very well. The strategy worked really well because they were taking care of the others in the middle of the trees, but I was in the side taking position, as I said, and I was shooting them one at a time, and the cannon is really powerful. It basically one-shots anything, even if you shoot at uh, the most unlikely place to be penetrated by the shell. The cannon is strong enough to go through and to deal damage. And in fact, I hope that the developer is gonna add soon more types of shells, because in the first version of the game, I remember there was APHE shells and HE shells, which was nice. But now there's only APHE rounds, which are the best ones, like the strongest one, the best one, APHE. Speaking of the War Thunder standards, of course, but I just want to have I would like to have HE shells, and also like Sable round or something similar that increases the penetration but lowers the overall damage. Because in the late war period, the tanks have to, like, the penetration, the firepower factor, mostly is mostly based on the length and the caliber of the cannon, which is realistically correct. But in the modern times, the penetration level is heavily influenced also by the type of round. And in this game, unfortunately, in the late war, when I designed, what I have to do is to have like above 300 millimeters of penetration, which in modern days 300 isn't a lot. I have to really make the cannon long and big, which kinda takes away like some I have to basically change the whole size of the tank. I have to make it twice as big as it should be realistically, and that kinda, and also it decreases the value of depression and elevation, because the bigger the cannon is, the lower elevation or depression you can have in the turret, unless you have the biggest turret ever, but that defeats the point of modern tanks having huge vehicles. Anyways, I had a lot of fun playing this. The YT16 is really powerful, and I was saying before that it actually is survivable in certain aspects, because I was getting shot many times, and I still survived many of those shots. I think because this is thanks to the engine position, because the engine is right in front of the driver and the machine gunner. So what you have to do to destroy the vehicle in one shot is that you have to, you can disable the gunner and the loader, but the tank can still move around. But to one shot the vehicle perfectly, what you can do, or you should do, is to shoot at the engine. Well, not at the engine, but if you shoot at in front, there's a chance that you shoot the engine first, which is gonna protect the driver and the machine gunner a lot. Even though the engine is small, but still there's a chance that the round goes to the engine, then it has to go through the small metal plates that divide the engine from the driver. Then you have to hit the driver. Then you have to go through the metal plate that divides the driver and the turret ring, and then you have to ammo rack. And in fact, the ammo is in a very protected position. It's right under the turret, in the back, which on the sides is very easy to hit, but frontally it's gonna take some travel for the round to ammo rack. And thanks to this vehicle, the YT16, I'm actually really impressed. I managed to finally win a scenario with low struggles. The enemies had the advantage of the speed, of the reload time, the fire rate, but I had the advantage of the firepower, and I could go through anything basically from the distance, and I had the visual. In this case, I had to flank, but so this is everything about today's episode of Sprocket. The next video should be enlisted. I recorded something weeks ago, but I didn't finish recording. But this is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. KB2 Enjoy, you're out. Bye.